Okay, that seems to be somewhat of a decent frame, I guess. Well, okay. Hey guys, welcome to episode 1 or whatever of The Owl's Nest. So this is going to be a new series in which me and you, chill out in this little pillow fort, it's not a fort, this little nest of my plushies, and we're both going to draw. See, I have my tablet right over here. You're going to go grab your sketchbook or tablet or whatever project you're working on that doesn't need too much concentration. Go grab that. I know you have one. And we're just going to work on something, and I'm going to ramble about whatever I want. So today's episode or video is going to be about the signs that I noticed when my ex was cheating on me. It's a fun subject. I don't know if this is considered to be like a serious subject, but I don't know. This was inspired by one of my friends coming up to me and asking for advice on this subject. I didn't ever want the title of like being the friend who was cheated on. I didn't think that would be me, but I guess God has a plan for everyone or whatever BS the comments are going to tell me. So I might as well just tell you what I know, I guess. I do want to preference this by saying that all relationships are different. So just because either the signs that I caught in my relationship doesn't mean that those are going to be the same signs that you catch or that's going on in yours. I don't want to make you paranoid about your relationship. I am not an expert in any way. I'm just going to be talking about my personal experience. And yeah, pretty much that's it. So I'm going to start recording my screen so you guys can watch me draw as well. So I do want to preference this by saying that me and my ex were together for about 2.5 years. And I had known him for a year before then, so I knew him for about 3.5 years. So I knew him pretty well. A lot of these signs that I caught, I think it had to do with me knowing him so well. But yeah, so the first sign was pretty obvious to me. Okay, here's the thing. We're together for 2.5 years. He started cheating on me like officially in September of 2019. But that was just from the proof I had. That's all I know. It could have been longer than that. It could have been with multiple people. I really don't know. But I know for a fact he at least had been cheating on me since September at least. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. I didn't even know where I was going with that. But the first thing I noticed was the communication, or the lack thereof communication. So my ex was super into communication. He was very, very, he was an open book, very honest. He, even before we started dating, when we were just friends, he made it very clear that communication was such a big thing for him. So throughout the friendship and the beginning of the relationship, like the first maybe half year of the relationship, the communication was pretty good. We were doing pretty good, like no secrets or anything. And it wasn't until so he was cheating on me since September, but I didn't realize there was something wrong with the relationship until after our second anniversary. So towards the end of October, that's when I really started noticing the signs. And so at the end of October, he started being really, really weird. He was not talking to me as much. He felt like closed off. It just felt like he didn't want to hang out with me in a weird way. Well, not in a weird way. It just felt like he didn't want to hang out with me. And every time I would ask him, like, hey, is there something wrong? Is there something you want to talk about? At first, he would blame it on anxiety. So both of us did suffer from anxiety. So it wasn't like a weird, out of nowhere excuse, I guess. I was just like, oh yes, I understand. I also deal with anxiety. We'll get that, he was going to go see some people for it. So it felt like something he was going to work on. It was not a big deal. So cool, whatever. And then, towards, as time went on, it wasn't getting better. He was still, not really talking to me at all. And just the vibes, the vibes were off. And so I started asking him again, hey, is everything, okay? it just doesn't seem like anything's getting better. And then he started saying that it was me. He was like, Leslie, you're the one that's not talking to me. You're bad at communication. You're the reason why the relationship is going downhill. And I was like, oh dang, you're so right, even though like I was the one trying. That's also another thing. But just the communication was lacking, and he wasn't really helping us kind of get it back together, I guess, in a weird way of saying that. So since he blamed it on me, I was very much like, okay, I gotta fix this. I gotta try extra hard to really just talk to him, you know? So I did. I tried super hard to get things back together, I guess. I don't know. And it was really hard. He just wasn't there. He didn't want, like I said, it felt like he didn't want to talk to me. And like one instance of that really sticks in my mind is in early December. I think it was December 6th? December 6th of last year, we went to Disneyland. I'm not really into Disneyland, but he is a Disneyland fanboy. So we went, and I remember right before lunch, we got a snack. And while we were sitting there eating our like snack, I was trying to talk to him. I was trying so hard to start a conversation with him because I was the one that wasn't communicating, right? So I'm going to try extra hard to talk to him. And the whole time I was trying to have a conversation with him, he was ignoring me. He was on his phone, either not answering me at all or just giving me like one-word answers. And the thing about him being on his phone is even before we started dating, like when we were friends, we were just friends, he would tell me that he hates when, he's eating with somebody and they're on their phone. Like, it was super disrespectful to him for anyone to be eating with somebody and being on their phone. It was just like, he thought you had to be there at that moment, you know? So the fact that he was doing the one thing that he said he hated the most was kind of like a pretty not cool feeling. I was just like, there's something not there. It was, I don't know. Anyways, the whole Disneyland trip was really weird, by the way. He like ditched me for 10 minutes. He pushed me off. He was not a cool guy on that day. But anyways, so yeah, the lack of communication, which communication was his love language or whatever he said, that was a pretty big deal. And speaking of the whole like not having your phone out when eating kind of thing, like I said, that was something that I knew he really hated. So, and he had never done that before. So I knew that was like kind of a weird thing, right? He did a lot of things that were different. So like I said, I've known him for 3 years at that point, or like 3.5 years at that point, almost 4 years. So when he started to act different, like it was so apparent. It was just so in my face. Like, that is so weird. Why would he even act like that, right? So one way he acted different, which has to do with the communication thing, is he became closed off and reserved, which he never was. He's very much an open book, right? Very cold and distant towards me. He stopped inviting me to things. So he used to invite me to like all of his family things, all his family gatherings, and all of his company gatherings. And then he just kind of slowly stopped inviting me. And I had never gone to these company gatherings because he would invite me like really last minute, and I always had to work. And it was so last minute that I couldn't, like request the day off or whatever. But I remember towards the end of the relationship, while he was already cheating on me, I did have a day off, which he had a company thing as well. So I told him like, oh, by the way, I can actually come to this thing. Like let's go. I was like already staying at his house, so it would have been really easy. He would have just driven me there. And he said, oh, actually, you can't go to this one. And I was like, oh, really? Why not? And I forgot what he said. But I mean, it's not hard to lie about that. Like, it's so easy to be like, yeah, I can't bring a +1 to this company thing, right? So I was like, okay. So I waited for him at his own house, and I cleaned his room. It was whatever. Turns out that he just wanted to hang out with the other girl. Like, I have proof that, or I saw proof that he actually was meeting up with her at the company thing. So that's probably why he didn't invite me. And to family things, he wouldn't invite me either, but his family would invite me, so I'd go because I couldn't say no to his family. I spent Thanksgiving with him last year, and it was really awkward. It was so awkward. Not all of the differences are necessarily negative. So even though he was being cold and reserved, that was more towards the end of it. In the beginning, so like in September, when him and this other girl became official, I guess, he started texting me every morning and saying like, oh, hey cutie, good morning, I hope you have a good day today, I can't wait to talk to you after work. Just stuff like that, you know. And that sounds normal, right? That's not out of the ordinary for most people. But the thing is, with my ex, he hated texting, never texted me, would almost never reply to my texts. So we would only talk like over the phone while he was on his way home from work. That was pretty much our only communication for the whole day if I didn't see him, which I was okay with. Like, I mean, I really wanted to text him, but I was like, you know what, it's fine. If this is what he's comfortable with, I will put up with it, right? I just want to make him comfortable. So, yeah. He was texting me, he was being really, really nice to me, texting me throughout the day, like, hope you're doing okay, can't wait to talk to you. And he was also asking me to come over way more often. So I used to see him like once or twice a week, which I didn't like. I wanted to see him more. But he was just, I don't know, he didn't really want to see me that much, I guess. But towards, you know, like I said, when they first became official, he asked me to come over way more often. And honestly, it just felt like too good to be true. And now that I know that they became like official during that time, like I can't say this is for sure why he was being nicer, but I'm assuming maybe he just felt guilty that he's like was actually like officially cheating on me, you know. And maybe that's why he was being nicer to me. I really don't know, but I just feel like it's too much of a coincidence for him to suddenly be like the boyfriend I've always wanted when he started cheating on me, you know? Because I did make my needs known. It's not like I wanted him to, it's not like I wanted to see him more and I never told him, you know? Like I would tell him like, I really want to do this, and he'd be like, I don't want that, and I'd be like, okay, sorry. But yeah, it was just like, okay. Apparently that's pretty common, by the way, that they are nicer to you. Like cheaters start treating you well. I don't know. So, okay. Another thing I noticed when he started cheating on me was that he was being more secretive, I guess. So not really, but kind of. So this feels like it's a super, like, common thing with cheaters. Obviously, when you think of somebody cheating, your first thought is like, yeah, it's a huge secret, right? And they're gonna be more secretive, they're gonna be more vague. But the thing with him is that I didn't really notice. When he was cheating on me, I didn't suspect him cheating on me until like the last week of our relationship. And I knew there was something wrong. I knew that the relationship was like coming to an end, but I didn't know why. I didn't know there was somebody else. He never talked about her ever. I didn't even know, like, I met her once, right as they started, but they for sure had feelings for each other when I met her, so that's kind of a bummer. Like, that makes me feel gross, but yeah, I just didn't really know she existed, right? I don't know where I'm getting with this, but being more secretive. So the super, super common thing that people are going to tell you is they take their cell phones with them everywhere. Cheaters, right? And that's true. So the thing is, like, I didn't think too much of this because I personally take my cell phone everywhere. Like, if I go to the bathroom, if I go to the kitchen, everywhere I go, I take my cell phone. But that's that's only because I'm constantly listening to stuff on YouTube, whether it's music or gameplays or whatever. I'm always listening to something. And he was kind of the same. I don't think he watched stuff as often as I did. But, like, when he went to the bathroom, I know that he liked to go on Reddit or watch, like, political videos, you know? So, it wasn't that, like, when he was taking his cell phone to the bathroom every time, I kind of noticed, but I was like, he has a lot of videos to watch, it's fine. But yeah, in the beginning of the relationship, he wasn't like that at all. He was like totally cool to leave his cell phone with me unattended because I didn't have a reason to look through his phone. I don't, looking through your partner's phone is not a good sign. If you feel like you have to look through your partner's phone, either the relationship is just not working out. Like if you can't trust each other, it's not very good, right? Or you might have some insecurities you have to work through. So yeah, I never felt like I had to look through his phone. But when he was cheating, he took his phone with him everywhere. And we had each other's passwords and stuff, so it would have been super easy for us to go through each other's phones. And I remember one time on our 2nd anniversary, actually, we were celebrating by staying at home and having some adult juice. That sounds really weird. We were having some adult drinks, and I went to nappy town. I went to sleep, okay? Let's just say that. And he actually looked through my phone and looked through all my text messages. And he told me, like, up front the next morning, he's like, oh, I saw you got this message from this person, and I thought it was a guy, and I thought you were cheating on me. And I was like, okay. But I thought it was super funny at the time because I wasn't cheating on him. And to be fair, the message that he saw it was a coworker, and she called me BB. So, like, I kind of understood why he was kind of scared, but kind of wish he would have trusted me a bit, right? And that's the next topic, okay? But yeah, so he was already cheating on me, by the way, at this point. So the fact that he went through my phone, through my text messages to see if I was cheating on him, and he was the one that was already cheating, kind of weird, kind of uncool, kind of a dick move. But here's the best story. Okay, here I'm like so all over the place. So let me tell you a story about him being secretive with his phone to the point of me being like, it's kind of a weird situation. So this story takes place at in December, so the last month of our relationship. My ex really liked Star Wars. He loves Star Wars. He's a huge Star Wars nerd. I could not care less about the franchise, and I have nothing against Star Wars. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's bad. I just am not super into sci-fi. I've tried to get into Star Wars multiple times, and I just can't. It's nothing personal. I just can't do it. Right? Okay. I just don't want to get killed on the internet. Sorry. But even though I don't like Star Wars, I wanted to show him that I was interested in what he's interested in, right? I had already watched all the movies with him, so I mean, it's not like I wasn't trying. But I wanted to show him that, hey, even though I'm not super into this, I am so willing to do anything to make you happy, right? So I bought some inflatable, you know? The lightsabers, that's what they're called. I bought some inflatable lightsabers. They're super cheap. They weren't like, it wasn't like a collector's item that I got him, but I just bought those for him because I just wanted to be like, look at this, quirky little thing I got you. And then after I inflated them, I was like, hey, let's have a lightsaber fight. I hate lightsaber fights. Like, if you like doing them with your friends who also like Star Wars, like, cool, that's cool, like, I support you. But I am not the type of person to be like, let's pretend fight with swords, like, I am not. But yeah, I was like, yeah, you know what, let's have a lightsaber fight, because he's always wanted to have a lightsaber fight. And so we were doing that. I was pretending that I was having a great time. I was, he obviously had done this for so long. He had a lot of moves, a lot of cool lightsaber moves. And I was like, wow, that was so cool. How did you do that? Show me how to do that. Obviously, it didn't sound like that. I sounded more into it, okay? I know how to pretend to be genuine, okay? Anyways, I don't know why I'm even getting, okay. So, anyways, there is a part, okay, after fighting, lightsaber battling for a while, we ended up being in the backyard. This was like 10 p.m. by the way. We're in the backyard having a lightsaber fight. He decides to go back inside for a split second to like grab something. I don't remember. Probably, I don't even remember. And I thought, listen, I like to jest. I'm a little trickster sometimes. So I thought, wouldn't it be so funny if I just hid from him for a little bit, just a little bit. Let's play hide and seek, like impromptu, whatever, hide and seek game. So I kept my lightsaber, but I turned it off.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that we switched from the inflatable lightsabers to some of the better quality ones that he had. So yeah, they actually could turn on and off and make noises. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot to mention that. Sorry.
And he had left his cell phone on a bench in his backyard, and I grabbed his cell phone so that when he was looking for me, he couldn't call me and find my location because I had my cell phone with me. I could have put my cell phone down somewhere, I know, but you know, this was just my first thought. I took his cell phone, I stuck it into my pocket. I did not look into his cell phone. I wasn't even thinking about looking into his cell phone. And then I hid behind a wall. It wasn't a good hiding spot. And I wasn't trying to like hide from him for like 20 minutes, you know. It was just a cute, quirky little thing I was doing, okay? So I hid behind a wall, and I'm watching him the whole time through the windows, like, look for me. He looks outside for a second. He didn't even look behind the wall. Like, he literally just stood outside and did this, and then went back inside. I was like, dude, your backyard is so big. Like, if you would have just taken 5 steps to the left, you would have found me. But he just didn't really put any effort into finding me, so he's not very good at hide and seek, in my opinion. But a couple minutes pass, and I go back inside because I don't want to hide forever. It's 10 p.m. and it's cold outside. And this, like I said, it's not like it took a long time. Like, this whole thing probably lasted like 3 to 5 minutes, so it wasn't like a big deal or anything. And I find him inside, and I'm like, I'm here I am. You found me, or not you found me, but you know, I was like, I'm here. And he immediately like embraced me and started crying, like actually crying, real tears. And I was like, this is kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of a weird reaction to hide and seek. And I was like, hey, is everything okay? Because clearly things were not okay. And he was like, yeah, I was just like really nervous, or I was really worried or something. Like, I don't even know if he actually came up with like a really good answer. He just didn't really have a reason to why he was crying. But I remember thinking like, that is so weird. Why is he crying? And I know this was such a long story, but I love this story. It's so weird to me. Now, knowing that he had been cheating on me for for at least 4 months, but it was probably 5 to 6 months at this time, right? But he had been cheating on me for at least 4 months at this time. I think the reason why he was crying was because he noticed his cell phone was missing. He noticed that I was missing, and he probably thought that I looked through his phone, saw the evidence, because there was evidence on his phone, and he probably thought he was caught, and he freaked out. So that's what I think. I could be wrong. That's the only reason why I would think he would cry over that. If you guys have any ideas on why else he would cry, let me know. But yeah, that was a fun, long story that nobody cared about. I care about that story. I love that story. So, my video, my stories. Anyways, so one of the most important things I noticed when he was cheating on me, there's this thing called projecting. I don't even know the actual definition, but I'll post the definition like up here somewhere. But what, you know, project your feelings. You're kind of like throwing, or you're, I don't know. The definition is going to be up here, okay? So, projecting. So, throughout the relationship, he would make jokes about me cheating on him. Like, and they're like, I thought they were pretty innocent jokes, like, you know, he would, if I was somewhere, I don't know, he would be like, oh, I bet you were hanging out with your other boyfriend, or you're talking to your other boyfriend. I heard this is this is pretty normal in relationships. I'm not sure. This was my first relationship, so I don't know. I thought it was normal, so I was like, haha, what a funny joke. So I would make them back at him because, I don't know, if it's normal, that's what I thought it was. If it's not normal, sorry. But then it just started getting a lot worse. So, for example, I started a new job like a year into our relationship, and the guy who was training me, let's call him Kyle. I don't know a Kyle, so that should be a safe name. So let's say Kyle is my trainer for this new job. So whenever he would, you know, my ex would ask me about work, whenever I would talk about like many things, I would have to bring up Kyle, because he was literally the only person I would talk to at this new job. This new job sucked. I quit like in 2 weeks, okay? But Kyle was the only one I would talk about, because he was the only one talking to me. And I didn't think it was a big deal. But then it got to the point where, like, I worked at retail, okay? This was a retail place. So if I wanted to go into my workplace when I had the day off to like buy something, my ex would be like, oh, you're just going to see Kyle. You want to go talk to Kyle. And at first, I just thought they were silly jokes, but it got really serious. Like, he legit didn't like Kyle. It's not like, I'm not a flirty person. Unless I like really, really like you. But overall, I'm not a flirty person. I didn't try to make my ex jealous. I'm not that type of person either. I don't know, maybe I did talk about him too much. I don't know. I wish I could go back in time and listen to myself, and maybe I'm like, oh, that's why he was insecure, right? But as far as I know, I wasn't making any insinuations that I had anything for Kyle, right? I was like, okay, whatever. Like, you're insecure about Kyle. Okay, so I just would stop talking about him. And then I started a new job like 2 weeks after that one, right? Because I didn't like that job. And in this new job, I have a coworker, and what was that? That was a weird noise. Let's say this coworker is named Jonathan. I don't know a Jonathan either. I have no feelings for Jonathan other than friendship. And Jonathan is a natural class clown. He's so funny. He's a very interesting person. So I would talk about Jonathan kind of often, because he's the one who gave me the most stories, you know? Like, listen to what Jonathan did today. Oh my god, so funny. And I remember there was a time where I drew something, like I drew a doodle of Jules and Mace, my OCs, and Jonathan was like, you can draw? Oh, I'm gonna try to draw them. So he tried to draw them, and I took a picture of them, and then later I showed my ex. I was like, look at my drawings, and look, my coworker Jonathan tried to do them, and they were really bad. And I was like laughing, and he was like not having it. He was like not laughing. He was like not amused by the story at all. And he was like I don't know. He just I forgot what he said, but I know that he really brought the conversation down. Like, he was like, I think he actually told me I think he actually admitted that he wasn't comfortable with like Jonathan. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I'll try not to talk about him too much. Because, yeah, so if I try to talk about him, he was obviously like not into it. So I stopped talking about Jonathan. And then, like, later, my ex came up to me and was like, hey, I noticed you're not talking about Jonathan anymore, but I just want you to know that just because I'm insecure doesn't mean that you should stop talking about him. You know, you should be allowed to have friends. I should be allowed to have friends. You know, it's fine. It's all cool. And I was like, okay. So then, like, I started talking about Jonathan again, but not immediately. No, it took a while. And I started, like, kind of bringing him up a little bit, like, tiny stories. But then he would immediately shut down again and be like, why are you talking about him? Like, you have feelings for him. I bet you like him. And I was like, no, there's nothing. Well, that's exactly what you would say if you had feelings for him. Like, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I won't talk about him anymore. And this wasn't the first time he did this, by the way. There was 2 other people. There's 2 mutual friends of ours that I stopped talking to and stopped talking about because he accused me of being in love with them, even though there's like no proof. I wouldn't have done that. I legit thought that my ex was like, I thought he was out of my league, and so I was like, I'd be so stupid to cheat on you. Like, I would never do it. And every time I would tell him, like, hey, I would never cheat on you. Like, that's just, I was so wrong. Like, it's not, you know, it's so morally wrong, I couldn't do it. And every time I tell him that, he would say, oh, well, this is your first relationship, so, like, how do you know you wouldn't cheat on me? And I was like, I know myself as a person. Like, just because I've never been in a relationship before doesn't mean, you know, like, it was just so, and he held that against me, by the way, for a lot of the relationship. Very much like, I'm the more mature one because I've been in many relationships, whereas you, Leslie, have never been in a relationship, so you are less mature and more likely to cheat. And I was like, what? Okay, I guess. Like, if that's, I don't know. I took everything, he studied, like, psychology, so I was like, he must know what he's talking about. So, okay. But anyways, what are we talking about? One big story. My favorite, it's not my favorite story. I hate this story. So, remember how I mentioned that I stopped talking to a couple of our mutual friends because he wasn't comfortable with them? So, here's the thing. I personally believe that if you're in a relationship, you should still be allowed to have friends outside of the relationship or other than your partner, I think is what I meant to say. Right? Like, you should be able to hang out with other people. You should be able to hang out with other people one-on-one. But we had this rule that, like, if we wanted to hang out with a friend that was of a different gender, even though it doesn't matter with me, but if they were from a different gender, we had to tell each other, right? So if I wanted to hang out with my friend, I'm so bad at making up names, Gavin. I don't know a Gavin. So let's say I have a friend named Gavin, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna hang out with Gavin, but I would tell him, like, when I'm gonna hang out with Gavin, where I'm gonna hang out with him, the times, just like, I would give him all the details so that there was, like, no secrecy, and then he'd be like, cool. And, you know, it was vice versa. We both agreed to this. I don't know if this is normal, by the way. It's probably not, but that's just something that we agreed to. And I only did this once because after this one time, I was like, I'm never attempting this again, right? So, we had a mutual friend named Gavin, not his real name, and he wanted to go hiking with me because I think I posted somewhere online, like, oh, I've never been hiking, and he was like, I love hiking, let's go. And I was like, okay. The only day we had available was Friday, so I told my boyfriend after work, I said, hey, Gavin wants to go hiking with me, or he just wants to go hiking. It's gonna be at this time, this day, this place. And my ex was like he was supportive. He was like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let me know how it goes. What did I just say there? Let me know how it goes. Stay safe, text me, that stuff. And he didn't seem like he was at all suspicious, or I don't know, like, he didn't seem uncomfortable or anything, right? If he would have at all told me that he was uncomfortable with that plan, I wouldn't have done it. But he seemed fine, so I was like, cool, good to go. I go hiking with Gavin, things are fine, things are very platonic, and then, later that day, I see my boyfriend. I'm like, yeah, this is how it went, it was cool, whatever. And he was just not. He just shut down. He was so mad at me. How dare you go hiking with this person? You went on a date with him. You practically went on a date. And I was like, I did not go on a date with him. But I don't know. I mean, he was like, yeah, going hiking is like a very good first date idea. And I was like, I didn't think it was a date. If I would have known this fact of life, I wouldn't have done it. I'm sorry, like, I didn't. And I just could not for the life of me convince him that I didn't cheat on him by going hiking with this guy. So, and I thought, because they're mutual friends, I thought, like, maybe he'd be more comfortable with Gavin, but he wasn't. And, like, it was just really weird. So yeah, like I said, I could not for the life of me convince him that I wasn't cheating on him with that. That wasn't a date. And he held that against me, by the way, for the rest of our relationship. That happened, like, within a year and a half of our relationship. So we went for, like, another year, and I could never convince him that I didn't cheat on him. And he was still friends with Gavin. Like, he was so, like, chummy with him. He still texted and called him and stuff. But I was the one being punished for this. I don't know. It was just really weird. So, yeah, he just started really not liking Gavin. It's so weird saying that name because, like, it doesn't fit him at all. I would text Gavin sometimes. I'm not a big texter either, so I don't really text my friends. But you know, sometimes we would talk. We followed each other on Instagram, so he would comment on my stuff and I would like reply and stuff. And if my ex caught me replying to him, he'd be like, of course you're texting Gavin, like, you have such a thing for him. And I was like, I don't at all, dude. Please just let me have friends. And so eventually I stopped talking to Gavin. I stopped trying to make plans with him. I just shut him out of my life because I didn't want to jeopardize my relationship. And there's another mutual friend. I'm not even going to make up a fake name for him because it doesn't matter. The same thing where this mutual friend was really nice to me. We never even hung out, like, one-on-one. He was just there. He just existed, and he talked to me, and therefore I was cheating on him. So I stopped talking to him as well. So yeah, that's fun. What a long story. Who is still here? So, anyways, the whole point of that was that throughout the relationship, yes, he was accusing me of cheating, right? But it got so much worse when he started actually cheating on me. I don't know why cheaters project that. I don't know if, I mean, I just kind of thought that maybe he was hoping that I was cheating on him so that, like, I was the bad guy. Like, he would catch me and then I would be the bad guy and he wouldn't get caught. And I don't know. I really don't know why this was a thing that went down, but it was. Not sure how projecting stuff works. But this is apparently very common with cheaters, so not fun at all. Another thing that was kind of projecting, I guess, was, so in early December, 2 days after the Disneyland trip, he actually broke up with me. It didn't last long. We were broken up for like 3 hours, and then he was like, I take it back, I don't want to break up. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't want to break up either. So like, I was about to say I just jumped right back on, but that's not what I want to use. But I jumped right back into the relationship. I was like, I don't want to break up, whatever. But when he was breaking up with me, I remember I asked him, because like I knew the relationship was not good, but I didn't know it was not good to the point that we were going to break up. So I didn't really know why, right? So I asked him when he was breaking up with me, I was like, hey, is it because there's somebody else? And obviously he said no, because he's not going to admit to cheating, right? And I said, I know this is really dramatic, right? I was being broken up with for the first time, so I was being kind of dramatic. But I said, okay, because I would rather die than find out you're cheating on me. I know, so dramatic. I cringe thinking that I even said that. That I just gave him way too much power there, okay? Don't ever give somebody too much power, but that's what I did. And his reaction to me saying that was, I can't make the noise. What did he make? Like, Like he made a noise, like an noise, but like with his mouth closed. It's kind of like the noise you make when you see like a really cute puppy or something, you know, or like a really sad animal. It was not at all, it wasn't at all the type of reaction I thought I was gonna get with that. And I remember at that time, even then, I was like, that is such a weird reaction. What is with that? That is really weird. But yeah, and then the reason I bring that up is because later, like a week or so later after that, he said, hey, Leslie, remember when I broke up with you and you asked me if there was somebody else? And I was like, yes, I remember that. That was a very traumatic time, and there was a very traumatic day of my life. Why are you bringing that up? And he said, you know, it really bothered me that you would even accuse me of seeing somebody else. You know, that just means that you don't trust me, and that's why this relationship is failing, because you don't trust me, because you're you know, like, everything was my fault. Like, the relationship wasn't bad because he was cheating on me. It was bad because I was just not a good person. I was not communicating. I was the one not cheating. I couldn't trust him. I wasn't putting in any effort. I was. Yeah. Apparently that's also a sign of a cheater. I didn't know that, but yeah, apparently they try to make you out to be the bad guy. So that was definitely true in my relationship. I just couldn't do anything right by this guy. It was a terrible time. It was not a fun time to be Leslie Lou Marie, let me tell you that. The last thing I want to talk about, which is still I got another long story for this one, is trusting your gut feeling. So, like I said, when the relationship was going kind of downhill, I didn't really know he was cheating on me at all. And in the beginning, when things were like kind of starting to be not good, I had a feeling that things were not good, but I didn't like, it was such a small feeling, you know? There's something, even when he was being like super nice to me and more nice than usual, there's something inside of me that was like, there's something off. There's something really wrong going on. It was like my brain was like, Leslie, there's something going down. Something smells fishy here. You gotta find out what it is. And I was like, nah, there's nothing. I'm overreacting. Or you know, it was just such a small feeling that it just felt not real. You know, I wasn't trusting myself. I didn't trust my feelings because I'm also an anxious person. So I was like, whenever things were weird, you know, whenever he would stop replying to me, whenever he was out too late after work, my thoughts weren't, oh my god, he's cheating on me. It was just like, he might be acting weird, but I'm just anxious. Like, this is so, I'm overthinking everything. Like, it's my fault that I feel this way. It wasn't. He was cheating. But you have to trust your gut feeling. I do remember back 2 days, another 2 days, 2 days before I caught him cheating, I went to go get a new car. Not by choice. My last car, like, freaking just shut down. It was not working. And so this was my very first car that I was getting. My old car was a hand-me-down from my mom. Like, it was like my mom's old car. So this was my first real car, I guess. And so I told him, I was like, hey, ex-boyfriend, I'm getting my first car. I would really like if you were there with me. This is a very important time of my life. But I understand that getting a car is a really boring experience. So, like, I understand if you don't want to be there for the whole process. I just really want you to be there for, like, some of it. And he was like, fine, whatever. He was not super into it. So I was like, yeah, I get it. Like, it's not fun. And then I remember the moment that I was, you know, I was approved to get this car, he dipped. He was out. He was like, okay, peace out. And he didn't tell me where he was going. He didn't say he had plans. He didn't say anything. He was just like, okay, I'm gonna go. And I was like, okay. I was really sad. I really wanted him to stay there. It was like I said, it was really, like, a really, really special day for me. But I was like, I can't force him to stay. I don't want to force him to stay. So I let him go. And I remember when I was, like, you know, getting into the car to go home, or actually I had to go out to dinner with my coworkers. The car sales lady, I cannot draw this here. I'm just sucking at this. The car sales lady, freaking saleswoman, the car saleswoman was like, hey, where's your other half? And I said, oh, he left a while ago. But I remember that moment, my heart, like, dropped. And I didn't know why, because I'm like, it's not a big deal, he just left, right? Like, nothing was going on. But there's just something inside of me that was like I remember very, very, very clearly thinking in my head, there's something wrong. We're gonna break up soon. And that was something that I never wanted to think about, because I mean, we were really serious, you know. We planned our wedding, we planned our honeymoon, we talked about children, we talked about moving in. We were literally, while he was cheating on me, we still talked about that stuff. And while he was cheating on me, he was, like, prepping his dog to get along with my dog, because I was gonna move in soon, you know. And he had already made it official with the other girl, so I was not at all expecting him to be cheating, because right. But yeah, just the whole fact of I didn't want to think about breaking up, yet this voice inside of my head was like, you're gonna break up soon because there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but there's something. And I don't know, I just remember just not being, like, I remember being so anxious that whole night. I went to dinner with my coworkers because one of my coworkers was leaving. And then we went to Dave & Buster's. And I couldn't enjoy myself at all this whole time because I was like, there's something bad going on. He's doing something bad. I don't know what, but he's doing something bad. And he actually ditched me to go hang out with his other girlfriend. And I do remember the test drive, when I was test driving the car, I remember looking in the rear view mirror and he was on his phone in the back seat texting the whole time. And like I said, he hated texting with a passion. So the fact that he was texting was kind of weird. He was making plans. He was going to go pick up this girl to go to the mall, right? So yeah, so it was not a good night. And that is going to be my last story. Not that, but this upcoming story. I know this is so long. I don't talk about this often. I've told like just my very closest friends about this, and so I like to ramble, okay? So the last story has to do with that night, and it has to be it's another sign, right? Okay, so don't worry, it's kind of educational, I guess. So that night I leave Dave & Buster's early because I could not enjoy myself. My heart was like racing the entire time because I was like, he's doing something bad. So I leave at like 10 p.m. It's a Sunday night, by the way. It's Sunday at 10 p.m. For the whole relationship, my ex would never, he hated being out of the house like past 7 p.m. if he had to work the next morning. He would not, like, either he would not want to hang out with me if he knew he had to go to work the next morning, or if I was with him, he'd be like, we have to be home by 7 because he needed a lot of time to like decompress before going into work. So 10 p.m. I leave my coworkers and I call him immediately, like the moment I leave the building, and he doesn't pick up. And if he doesn't pick up his phone, it's either because he's with other people or he's not home. And I was like, it's 10 p.m. on a Sunday. He's probably home. I checked his location because we did have each other's location. I know that's so weird to a lot of people, but I think it's becoming more common now, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. But we had each other's location because it helped me with my car accident anxiety that I had back then. I still probably have it, but not too much anymore. And he always shared his location with all, like, his family and his exes, so it wasn't weird for him either. It was a mutual agreement that we shared each other's location. Okay, I don't know why I'm defending myself. And I checked his location and he was at a mall, and I was like, he's at a mall at 10 p.m. Aren't malls like closed at 10 p.m.? And it's also a Sunday. Like, he would have never, if I was with him, he would not have wanted to be at the mall. And I was like, okay, it's kind of weird, but I'm just gonna let it go. I'm overthinking things. It's fine. So I head home, and it's like 11 p.m. at this point when I get home. So he has to know it's really late. Like, he's probably home. He has to work the next day. He has to wake up at like 5 a.m. the next day. It's 11 p.m. He has to be home. I call him again. He doesn't answer. And I was like, this is so off character. Like, this is so not him. So I check his location one more time, and I noticed he's in a neighborhood that wasn't his. He was in a neighborhood that I didn't recognize, and so I was like, okay, kind of weird, but it's fine. Like, it's not a big deal. Maybe he's just driving through that neighborhood to get home, but it wasn't at all on his way home. I was just, like, my brain the whole time was like, he's doing something bad. But me trying to, like, not be anxious, I was like, there's a logical explanation. Nothing bad is happening. Give him the benefit of the doubt. He's mad at you for not trusting him enough, so you gotta trust him, okay? So, eventually he does call me. And he's like, oh yeah, I was at the mall. He wasn't, like, lying. He knows that I have his location, right? So, it's not like he tried to lie about it. But I realized he was telling me, like, the whole story of him being at the mall. But I could tell that he was being so careful in his wording. he was like, yeah, I went to this place, and then I went here, and then I ate at this place, but they didn't have this, so I went to this place. And, like, that doesn't sound weird. That sounds like, that's normal. That's how you would talk if you were by yourself. But just the way he was talking, it wasn't as, like, relaxed as he usually is. And I was like, he is hiding that he was with somebody else, I think. So then I told him, I was like, oh, that sounds fun. Who were you with? You know, like, and I didn't sound like that. I tried to be more, like, chill about it. Because I knew he was with somebody, but I didn't think he was cheating. But, like, if he's being so secretive, how did I not? I think I kind of knew, but, like, I was kind of trying to not know. I think I just was so in denial, okay? I was so in denial. But, yeah, so I was like, hey, so, yeah, like, who were you with? And he was like, I wasn't with anybody. I was by myself. And I said, no, I think you were with somebody. Ex-boyfriend name. I know you were with somebody. And he immediately, like without a second hesitation, got so defensive. And he was like, how do you know that I was with somebody? Were you watching me? Like, did you see me? Like, how did you know? Like, you have no proof. Like, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like, he said like all that stuff. Like, he said like most of that stuff, okay? He probably didn't say the proof thing, but he was so defensive. And the thing with him is that within the 3.5 years of knowing him, he had never ever been defensive, ever. He was super chill. He was not a mad person. He was not a defensive person. He was a very, very chill stoner. He had no... he would get mad a lot, but like not usually towards me. And he wouldn't get like defensive, okay? So this was super out of character. And so yeah, he was like, how do you know I was with somebody? And I said, I saw you in this neighborhood. And it wasn't like he was driving by. Like, he stayed in this neighborhood for like a while. So, you know, you were probably like dropping somebody off, right? And he said, no, actually, I used to go to this neighborhood a lot with my friend so-and-so, and we used to go there and smoke a lot and look at the Christmas lights, and that's why I was there at like almost midnight on a Sunday night before work. Duh. I'm getting like so mad. Well, I'm not getting mad. I'm just like, I find it so amusing, you know? And I dropped it because I just didn't want to get into anything. I was just like, honestly, I was just so heartbroken. Because he really raised his voice at me, and I'm not the type of person who does well with that. Like, if somebody raises their voice at me, I cry. And like, I kind of knew that he was hiding somebody. So if he's hiding somebody, that's not a good sign, you know? So yeah, I was like, there's something off, but I just don't want to face it. So I just dropped it. And then the next day, I caught him cheating. Yeah, wow. Like Monday, like at midnight on the next day, early Christmas Eve is when I caught him. So that's the end of this video. Okay, that's pretty much it, I think. Is that everything? Yeah. So that whole story was, he got defensive, which was out of character, which was a bad sign. He was being secretive, very, very secretive, which is a bad sign. And I had a very, very, very strong gut feeling that I was ignoring, which is a bad sign. It was like three signs that he was cheating all in one little story. And I just, yeah. Anyways, this was such a long video, but I am like really hoping that you guys got something accomplished. Let's do show and tell. Wait, I'm not done. Well, obviously I'm not done, but here, let me just... Okay, so at the end of all of these Owl's Nest videos, I think we should show each other what we worked on. And I think what we should do is you should post what you were working on Twitter or Instagram or Tumblr or whatever you use, and tag it with Owl's Nest, I guess. Yeah, Owl's Nest. OWLSNEST. So this hashtag that's on the screen, post whatever you were working on if you're comfortable with that hashtag. and then we can all just see what we're all working on. And like I said, I think you should doodle. Honestly, if you don't want to work on like a serious project, don't do it. Just doodle your favorite anime character or something, okay? So this is what I was working on. I'll post it on the screen. I mean, you're probably watching or not of me working on this. I'm going to finish this off camera. I'll probably post it somewhere here. And I don't know, I just wanted to draw just the scared looking me because it was a scary time in my life. So this was so long. I don't know if anybody's gonna watch this, but we'll see. Anyways, if you have any suggestions for this series, please let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know all the YouTubers say that, but I never say that in my videos, so I really want to say that now. Please, please, please subscribe if you're not already. I hope to do this maybe once a week or once every other week, depending on the reception to this. So if you have any suggestions for any future topics, whether they are love related, life related, or just art related, let me know and I will do another video, and maybe it won't be as long. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please be good owlets, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey little owlet, what was your favorite Leslie Lou Marie video? I like when she rants about her cheating ex-boyfriend for a long time. That's the best video. I look so creepy.